We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with these certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Who knows where that's from? Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776. The founders of our country, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and the rest of the Continental Congress, inscribed these words when they were creating the land in which we all live. Now, most of our lives, we don't have time to ponder these questions. Pursuit of happiness, life, liberty. Today, for the next 8 to 10 minutes, we have nothing but to ponder these questions. And I'll say this. If we fail to ponder these questions at the end, I will be quick to get out my feather pen and my ink and write a note to these founders of the Continental Congress and let them know that you are all in contempt of the Declaration. In my speech today, I'll be sharing my story. And who am I to talk about pursuit of happiness? I'll talk about what I've learned over my lifetime, and really the last 10 years, that have brought me to a place here where I can share some things that I've learned. I'll talk about some components of the pursuit of happiness that I've learned from some of my mentors and some heroes that I've read about. And finally, we'll talk about what it means to pursue happiness in your own life. Now, before we get to the good stuff, and we talk about what it means to live a happy life, let's talk about those not so good things and what it means to live a life that's not happy. I'm almost 30 years old. I turned 30 in November. But really the last decade of my life, I feel like, has been all about this pursuit of happiness. Around the age of 20, I came in contact with some very dark times in my life. Some times in my life where I wasn't so sure that I would live to see another day. And I remember sitting in my bed, lying down, not a religious person, but just asking. I said, God, or whoever's listening, do me this one favor. I said, if you're able to help me get through these dark and challenging times in my life, I promise you one thing, that I will share these and help other people to live a life of the lessons you teach me. And I can't say from that very day, my life was just a bundle of joy from that point on. But I can say this, that I've experienced some low lows, and I've experienced some very high highs. And so what I want to share today is kind of the lessons I've learned, what I call the split of the decades. The first 5 years in my 20s, running up against challenges, falling, some successes. The last 5 years, I feel like I've kind of got some momentum in that pursuit of happiness. And I want to share those with you here today. Now, as far as the components of happiness and what it means to lead a happy life, the first aspect, I feel, is quite ironic. When I read books and when I study people who I consider to be happy or what I can learn from their life, the ironic part is that their life isn't happy all the time. I mean, if we live a life where we expect to smile and say an affirmation, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, that just doesn't work. But if we look at our lives as a movie, whether it's the Pursuit of Happiness movie with Christopher Gardner, Aaron Brockovich, Braveheart, Rocky, whatever that is, we realize that these men and women who have achieved great things in their life and really have lived out their pursuit haven't been happy all the time. It's actually the contrary. They've reached times in their life where they've had challenges, they've fallen, they've risen. But throughout it all, they've really understood what their life is about.